I was telling, Judy caught me. Did y'all hear me saying what Judy did? She said, Molly, I don't have this in my painting. See this right here, sort of round?
Yeah.
Well, I decided I didn't want to do more round. This is round, these are round. I didn't want to do more round. So I just sort of made my...
Made it peaky.
I made it peaky, and you can do anything. Just try to stay out of the crystal. So that's light. So I stuck my brush into some greens, and I'm just going to drop a little bit, just a little hit there, a little hit there.
What color green is that?
It's sap green
And some ultramarine blue.
and some
Cobalt.
cobalt. I'm using cobalt.
Oh, nice.
Just sap. That's the way you can darken some greens. And if I want a little darker, that's supposed to be an undersea. What is that? Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty dark. If I even want that darker, I can put it a little bit darker. It just gives some interest, so you don't have the same
So
depth.
it doesn't look like it's cut out and pasted on.
Yeah, and it's not a leaf, it's just shapes. I've just done light and dark and light and dark. That's what all these things are. If you paint wrong over a, let's see what that is. That must be that shape right there. And see, I started with light, with dark. This is light. So just drag it in there. Just a little tap here and a tap there, and let the water keep it clean. Don't go back into it. If you like it, don't go back into it until it's dry.
Do you want us to do these things yet in the glass?
No,
No,
just stay away from the glass. Well, I take it back. You're right. Do those greens right there.
Yeah.
Anything you see that's green, you can do it, but stay away from the glass.
Okay.
Try to keep the,
This.
no, not yet.
Keep the rim
Try
clean.
to keep the rim clean, because we're not going to touch the crystal yet.
What about your here, like this?
Yeah, no.
Is that glass or is that?
You know what this is? The original photograph, this was the shine from the window that diffused all these paints. And this particular painting really isn't as pretty as the original. You never paint the second time as good as the first time. And the first time was good. I sold it to third person that saw it bought it. And it was, and all this was just like, you couldn't tell what it was, but there was blues and purples and pinks in that area right there. Because that's where the sun.
Painting that?
No, leave that alone right now.
Leave that alone.
Leave everything in the glass alone, because we have to
Okay.
paint what's inside the glass
Right, okay.
first.
Okay.
This is on the outside of the glass.
Okay, that's.
Everything
my
else is on
question,
the
yes.
inside of the glass.
Okay.
Do you always paint wet on dry?
Well, depends on what I'm painting. If I'm doing Brigitte O'Connor, I'll wet this and I'll drop some color in it and I'll pick it up and do all that kind of stuff. And but mainly now, on that little handout that I gave you, you can see the yellow and the green, and just go in there with some shapes. Try to get 3 different colors of greens, a light, a medium, and a dark. Anybody ever hear of Doug Walton? He is anyway. In 1984,
I think he must be cute. Did you see her eyes?
no, but I learned so much from the man, and I didn't realize I'd learned until I got away from it. I was on the art show circuits. One of my friends was a watercolorist. She said, we've got to go to Louisiana Tech and study with this man. And I said, okay, I can bluff it. Oh my God, I was in so far over my head. It was terrible. But he said, when you're doing painting, you need bigness, middleness, and littleness. When you're doing color, you need bigness, middleness, and littleness. And that's dark, medium, light. Ding! That was a light bulb. I don't care what you're painting. If you can change your colors, dark, medium, and light, within an object or a subject, it just makes it more interesting. Now, that's because I like realism. I like to see what I'm looking at. I don't understand the abstract, but I like a painterly painting. And I paint intuitively, so I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why I'm going to do that, but you're going to see how I'm going to do that. So, anyway, in that little handout, you can see next steps, paint the yellow. Next step's going to be paint the red.
Okay.
And that right there, that red is wrong, and I didn't fix it. I wanted to show it to you. See how dull that is compared to that? I covered up too much orange, and I went back when it was not dry.
Do we have light coming from a certain place, or do we care about that?
We don't care
Okay.
about that.
All right.
And that's from Jane Freeman.
Okay.
Jane said, if you have an interesting composition, you don't necessarily have to have a strong light source, but you need lights in any painting, but you don't have to necessarily have a strong light source. I would say that this is coming light from this way because of the lights.
Okay.
If I had to guess it,
Cool.
but what do I know?